Okay, so in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about writing a literary analysis essay. Some of the things to think about, strategies to just help you out. We've talked about the purpose of literary analysis. We've talked about what some different options, what the modern version of this kind of essay might be. But what it comes down to is this. All essays are really trying to accomplish about the same thing. An essay is looking at more than one side of an issue, and they're going to present a perspective on that issue, that topic. If it's a controversial topic, it's going to be debatable, and it's going to have a thesis statement, and maybe by the end someone's going to agree with you or not, right? That's something you practiced all throughout English 101, and you did some of with your research essay in English 102. Literary analysis essays really aren't any different. But instead of trying to argue something and using evidence to back it up, you are looking at a perspective, right? You are interpreting, you are analyzing the quality of the storytelling of a story. You might be looking at symbolism in a short story, how this idea keeps being brought up and it represents something else. Great. Your argument then isn't that other interpretations are wrong, because you don't need to do that in English. In English, you just need to present your perspective and people understand there's more than one interpretation. You don't have to say, I think, I feel, I believe. Just state it as a fact. This and this story represents this. Let's say your thesis statement is something like that. Then your essay just needs to explain it. You're going to use examples from the story. You quote it, explain it, bring in an outside source to back you up, explain that, and then at the end just kind of review what you did. That should sound like other essays that you've written, because essays are just, it's a structure to present information in a persuasive way. But sometimes we get a little bit in our heads thinking that, there's a specific way, there's a correct way to do it. As long as you're following the instructions, you're fine. You'll be okay. You could go online and you could search someone else talking about literary analysis, and they're going to completely disagree with what I'm doing here. And that's okay too. Because ultimately, it doesn't mean just one thing. Just like a story can have multiple interpretations, the term literary analysis can have more than one interpretation. So what you need to do is pay attention to the instructions and make sure you're following those. And if it's not more specific than this, you can't necessarily be wrong, per se. Unless you've thrown out something else that I've taught. Please incorporate MLA correctly and things like that. But I want you to feel a little confident to experiment a little bit, to be creative, maybe even to try something new. As long as you are writing 1,000 words, you're analyzing the literary devices in a story, you have a clear thesis statement, you bring in sources to back you up, you quote everything effectively like you've learned in how to do in essays, and you cite everything, I think you're going to be okay. So challenge yourself not to worry about, am I doing this right? And obviously you can ask questions. I'm glad to answer them. But challenge yourself to just find something unique, an observation that you've come up with, and figure out, how do I explain this in an essay? And just focus on that. Challenge yourself to do your best writing, and don't worry too much about me. I know that sounds really weird, right? But I'm thinking big picture for you. It's possible you don't take another English class after this, right? English 102 might be the end of the road for you, unless you're an English major or you still have to take a literature class to get your intensive writing requirement done or something like that. This might be the end of the road for you. And so at what point are you going to feel confident in your ability to write? Might as well start now. So feel free to be a little bit creative with this. And obviously, if you have questions, let me know. But don't spend your time worrying about doing it wrong. Spend your time trying to figure out how to do it well. And just be confident and have fun. I hope that helps. But like I said, and I've said multiple times, if you have questions, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them. But I want you to have fun with this. So have fun.